Hey guys! First of all, as always, pardon my background noise. The kiddo's watching TV, eating chips, and overall just being as noisy as he possibly can be because I'm trying to record, and that's just how it works around here. So today I'm doing a bake with me video, and it's for a recipe that I've actually never made, so it'll be a nice little experiment for everybody involved. I recently watched the documentary The Magic Pill on Netflix. If you've been following my channel for any amount of time, you know that I am on the keto lifestyle, and in fact I've been dairy-free keto since November of 2017. So it's very much a lifestyle for me. This documentary though really spoke to me because it was about the medical benefits of keto, and one of the families in particular that they followed along the documentary is a family that has a child with nonverbal autism. Again, if you're new to my channel, you might not know, but my child has nonverbal autism, and I wasn't expecting to see that in the documentary, and it really impacted me. So I highly recommend everybody watch it. If you have Netflix, go. One of the recipes that they talked about in the movie was just fat bread, that's what they called it, but it's basically a macadamia nut based bread. So it's gluten-free, dairy-free as well, although you can choose to butter it if you want to. I won't be doing that. But it's keto because of the macros, and I have all the stuff that I need to make it, so I thought I'd make it on camera for you guys, and we can see together how the recipe is, how it works, and if the recipe works at the end of the day, because in the movie it's like a really nice looking loaf of bread. And I've baked bread before, but that was back in my standard diet gluten eating days. I've never baked my own gluten-free bread before. Gluten-free bread has a tendency to not rise as much. The texture is always different, so I'm curious to see how this will turn out. I've also noticed when I've tried to make like keto muffins in the microwave and things like that, they're usually a very eggy flavor and texture. This recipe calls for 5 eggs for the whole loaf, so it does have the potential to have that same springy texture and eggy flavor that kind of turns me off. So I'm curious at the end of all this if there's enough other stuff going on to counteract that. So I've got my food processor here, and I've owned this thing for about 3 or 4 years, and I think this will literally be the second time ever I use it. So bear with me as I try to figure this out. But pretty much the entire recipe is going to be made in the food processor. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take 8 ounces of raw macadamias, and I'm going to process them into butter. If you can find raw macadamia butter, that obviously handles that first step. I couldn't find it, so I figured I'd just do it myself. I've also got a jar of coconut manna, which is coconut butter, and you need 8 ounces. That's about what I've got in here. It's about a half jar, and they say that you should nuke it to make it easier to work with because it's very dry and crumbly and solid. Actually, mine is solid. So I'm going to very quickly nuke that now so that we can use it more easily in our food processor. After about a minute in the microwave, it's nice and pliable now. It's got like a dough consistency. I think that's what we're going for though. I'm honestly a little short. It looks like I have about 6 ounces there. So that's about 2 ounces less than I'm supposed to have. I'm gonna go ahead and make the recipe all the same because I'm ready to do it right now. But I did want to let you guys know that, because if the recipe comes out great, then you know that you don't necessarily need all 8 ounces. You could get away with the 6. If the recipe doesn't come out as great, then you know we have to make some allowances, I guess, because I didn't follow it exactly. Speaking of which, if you want to follow along the recipe yourself, I'm going to post a link in the description to the recipe that I'm following. I found it on freetheanimal.com. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to throw these macadamia nuts into the processor and brace myself because I bet it's going to be really loud. So the recipe says that I should process these on high until I've achieved a kind of part butter, part chunky nut meal texture. I think I'm pretty much almost there. It does say though that while it's on high, I should drop 1 egg down the chute and wait for the sound to stabilize so that it's smooth, about 20 to 30 seconds. Do the same with the second egg, and once the second egg kind of sounds smooth, then I could go ahead and put the rest of the eggs in. So I'm gonna do that right now. And these eggs are about as fresh as they get. They came from the butts of the hens that we keep in our backyard. So can't get more fresh than that if you tried. So let's go in on high with our first egg. Let me get this out of the way. Here we go. We've got a smooth batter at this point, and now we've got to add half a teaspoon of sea salt. There's our half teaspoon, and then our coconut butter. I want to make sure we get every little bit of that 6 ounces that we have in here. Okay, so now it wants us to mix these things on low for about 20 seconds until they're incorporated. At that point, we should mix in 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, which I'm going to go ahead and measure into here just to have them ready to go. And we need 1 rounded teaspoon of baking soda. And I'm assuming that the baking soda is what's going to give it its rise, so we don't want to be scant with this. So I'm going to put this on low, get it incorporated, then I'm going to throw in the lemon juice, baking soda, and we should be theoretically done with our batter. Why didn't you guys tell me this blob of coconut butter fell out? So we've got our batter right here. Looks proper. I've got my little bread loaf pan, and I'm going to spray this down with, not this one because this one's got soy. I'm going to spray it with some avocado oil. Now we're going to get this in there and bake for half an hour. We're gonna give it 35 minutes and we're gonna check on it then. Alright, it looks really pretty. It baked for 35 minutes and it's been cooling for about 15 now, so I'm gonna try to turn it over. That didn't work. I'm gonna try to just slice it right here and see if I can't get a piece out to at least taste it. It smells really nice. Okay, I cut myself kind of a thick slice, but it's holding together as a slice, which is good. You could also use regular butter if you're not opposed to that. Butter flavored coconut oil, or just eat it dry. That's actually really good. No one flavor really sticks out to me, which is great because it does not have an overwhelming eggy flavor at all, not in the slightest. The texture is good as far as like a snacking type bread. I don't know if it would hold up for a sandwich, maybe if I sliced it thinner and toasted it so that it would dry out a little more. But yeah, it's really good. It's not sweet. It's like a nice savory bread. It's got a good texture. It's not falling apart, and it's not eggy flavored. Definitely the best keto bread I've had since I've been on this journey. And that's saying something because I've tried a lot of different keto breads. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I also hope that you guys will try out the recipe for yourselves. The 6 ounces of coconut butter worked just fine for me. If you do it exactly as the recipe states though, I'd love to know how yours turned out. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up so that I know I should make more videos like it. I'd also love it if you would subscribe and click the notification bell because I post at least 3 times a week and you're not going to want to miss a minute. So I'm going to take my bread and my tea, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!